Okay, Heaven, it should be quite a short one today because quite a bit of the task is just practicing stuff that we've done already. So stuff that we did last lesson. So what we're doing today is we're looking at finding any term in a sequence. So what we did yesterday was we looked at how we'd work out the first few terms. So this method's really similar to that, except we can do it for any term rather than just the first few. And again, we're going to be doing that from the algebraic form of the sequence that we were yesterday. So the one that's in the form, so let's say 3n plus 1, and this was called the nth term. So the reason for that is that this rule tells us it's a term in the sequence and it's the one in the nth position. So you'll see a bit later, we'll do some examples. Okay, so we saw yesterday we had terms and they were written it, so the sequence was written in the form like this. So this is the nth term. So n, so this tells us the position in the sequence. If it was 3n, we'd be doing 3 times whatever the position in the sequence was. So for example, down here, if we're doing the 67th term of the sequence, that would tell us that n equals 67. If we're doing the 80th term in the sequence, that would tell us n equals 80. So what we're doing yesterday quite a bit, we're doing is first term in the sequence, so n equals 1. Second term would tell us n equals 2. So really the key point from yesterday is whatever number term you're doing, that's what n equals. And that is the same today. Okay, so let's do some examples then. So you might get one like this where it says find the 10th term of the sequence n plus 1. So first thing to do is we're going to write out what term it is we're looking for. So we're looking for the 10th term. So what we do is, just like we did yesterday, we write 10th term and then that tells us n equals 10. So we're going to write out the sequence in its algebraic form, so the nth term, n plus 1. Then from there we're going to substitute in the n value, so it'll be 10 plus 1 equals 11. So we've got our answer. So the 10th term of the sequence equals 11. And you can see that's much faster than what we're doing yesterday, having to work out the first, the second, the third, all the way up to the 10th. It'd take a long time. So just being able to sort of predict any specific term of a sequence is a really useful method. So with this, just as an extension bit, I'll show you how, let's say we wanted to find the 100th term. So if we wanted to find the 100th term, we could work out all 100 of them, or we could use this method. So the 100th term, that tells us we're looking for n equals 100. So again, we write out n plus 1, and we're going to substitute in n equals 100. So we've got 100 plus 1. So the 100th term of our sequence would just be 101. So you can see it's a really, really quick method compared to writing them all out. So let's do a couple more practice ones, and then we can do a mixed practice. So find the 8th term of 2n. So 8th term, what does that tell us about n? That tells us that n equals 8. So we've got the nth term, so we've got the 8th term, and that tells us n equals 8. We then need to write out the sequence, so it's 2n. We'll write it out in full, so that is 2 times n. So we then do our substitution. So we've got 2 times 8, because we're looking for the 8th term, which is 16. So the 8th term of the sequence, so the 8th thing in the sequence is 16. So you can see that's much quicker than working out all 8. Okay, let's keep getting a couple more. So find the 15th term of 3n plus 4. So 15th term. So that tells us we're looking for the 15th one, so that is n equals 15. So then from there, we write out the sequence, 3n plus 4, and then we'll write it out in full. So it's 3 times n, and then plus 4. And it's important that we do the 3 times n first because of BIDMAS. Okay, so then we substitute in n. So we know that n is 15 because we're looking for the 15th one. So we've got 3 times 15, and then we've still got the plus 4, so we don't forget that. So then 3 times 15 is 45, and we've still got this plus 4, we can't forget that. So 45 plus 4. So our final answer is 49. So the 15th term of the sequence is 49. Okay, so now this one is definitely a step up. So this is in the extension question of the worksheet for today. So if you want to go ahead and have a go at the worksheet, you can do and then come back to this, or if you've got time. But if you don't, if you want to have a go at this now, you can watch the example. Okay, so this one we're told that the 8th term of the sequence 4n plus 1 is 33. What is the 9th term? So I'm actually going to show you two different methods of doing this. So we're told the sequence 4n plus 1. So 4n plus 1 is our sequence, and we're told that what we're looking for is the 9th term. So let's write 9th term, and what does the 9th term tell us about n? It tells us that n equals 9. So we're going to write out our sequence, so 4n plus 1, and then we're going to write it out in full, so 4 times n and then plus 1. And we know that n equals 9, so we're going to be substituting that in. So we've got 4 times n, so that becomes 4 times 9 and then plus 1. So now all we need to do is we do the calculation. So 4 times 9, we do that first because of BIDMAS, so we've got 36 and then plus 1, so that gives us 37. So we've got our final answer. The 9th term of this sequence is 37. So we didn't really use the fact that the 8th term is 33. So this was method 1, and if we weren't told anything about the 8th one, this would be the only way we could do it, and that would be a really good way to do it. There is actually a little shortcut that we can do, and it comes from what we briefly looked at yesterday, and it's the number in front of the n. So we saw yesterday that whatever number is in front of the n, that is what it changes by each time. So we know that the 8th term is 33. So the 9th term then, that's 1 after it, so that means it's going to have changed by 4. So the 9th term then would be 37, and we can see that we've got the same answer either way, and we've done that using the shortcut because we know that the number in front of the n, that tells us what the sequence changes by. But we've not really covered that in the recap, so you can just do it this way. If you're happier with this method, stick with that. If you are feeling quite confident with the nth term stuff and you remember it from earlier in the year, this way, you can see it's got fewer steps, it's a little bit quicker. So whichever way you prefer, you can do. Okay, so for today's task, I've attached the worksheet to it. Part A, and it's basically split into stuff from lesson 1, stuff from lesson 2, stuff from today, and then extension stuff. So I think the stuff from today is mostly in the extension stuff. So have a go at it. If you're feeling confident, have a go at the extension. If you're feeling like you just want to practice the stuff from the past couple of lessons, stick with the first 2 sections.